Hey guys, welcome back to Through the Life podcast. I'm Lanice.
And I'm Naila. It's good to be back. I know we were gone for a while, maybe longer than a while, but we're back, guys. So we're excited for this journey.
Yes.
And yeah, we can't wait to take you guys along. So
A lot has changed since we've, been gone.
Yep.
A lot has changed for the good though. A lot. And I think that nothing about our walk with God has changed, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the part of life that increased for us.
Yeah.
But personal,
it's been a lot, guys.
It's been a lot.
Life has been lifing, okay?
I think the last time we filmed was back in April.
Mm-hmm.
And what was happening in our lives then?
I think that is when I had started my new job in marketing, because that's when I had got that job. But we took the hiatus during that time. And then, trials and tribulations met us throughout that year. So
a lot met us throughout that year. And I think that, it was a lot for my sister, Naila.
Yep. Which I will get into later in the podcast, guys. Dealing with ups and downs with my career. So that's something that I'll be getting into later along the way. I think that will help a lot of people, because a lot of people think that they're supposed to have their life all together at 25, which we're at right now. But that's not how life usually goes. And this journey that we're on, we're just letting God take the lead, which can be hard, because as humans,
we want control.
And I think that's something that we've grown from, and just letting things be and just letting God do God,
And I think, to piggyback on your career troubles, it was painted to us that way. Oh, after 4 years of undergrad, you're supposed to get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
By 25, you should be in your career job. Mm-hmm. By 30, you should be married with kids.
Have a house, all that.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So, to see her kind of go through that is true. Our jobs, for some reason, become our identity. Mm-hmm. I notice that when people be like, oh, who are you? Tell me about yourself. You're like, well, I work at so-and-so and so. You don't even know who you are, because we attach ourselves to these jobs. Mm-hmm. And I never knew how decisions decide destiny.
Yes.
Right? And I've seen that through Naila's walk with her career and with God. It was tough.
Very tough, guys.
Whew. It was tough, but
we're
here.
We are here. We are living, we're breathing, we're walking testimonies that you can still get by. As long as God is at the center, you're going to be okay. And that's something that I think we've really if you guys seen our walk from the beginning, it's not what it is now. And I never want to come across as that type of Christian where I'm holier than thou. I'm not doing this, so I'm going to bash you guys for doing it as well. That's not who we are, because we know everyone's walk is different. So I do want to emphasize that as well, because someone's walk may look different than ours, and we've learned from it and we've grown from that. So who are we to say, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this right, when we've been there,
I think a lot of it has to do with what we put out. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we really put out our business like that. Not saying we're any type of celebrity or anything.
Not like that, guys.
But obviously, you see, people are more transparent with things. Their every move, it's posted. But for us,
very private.
For me personally, I wanna, create my platform to be towards, our podcast and mental health. Right? Before, okay, if you were on my Instagram, it will be about what I bought and where I'm at eating and what I'm shopping and doing and all these good things. But I'm realizing social media, I spoke about my 40-day fast from social media. Yeah. I think that was 2022. Mm-hmm. Doing that has made me realize I want to use social media with a purpose. I don't want to just go on social media and watch people's stories and just absorb all this craziness that we see. I want to push something. And what to push for me personally is our podcast and mental health.
Yes. And throughout our podcast, we'll dive into mental health and our feelings about mental health, because I feel mental health hasn't been talked about the way it is now. But at some points it feels like some people are like kind of like glorifying it, and it's like a trend, like it's not supposed to be a trend. This is like something that people really deal with, people struggle with. And I think like our experiences will show like the effects that mental health has on people as well. So I think that's something very important. And like, well, Lanice, like, she'll tell you like you're going to school again. So it's like,
yes, I am going back to school this fall to get my master's degree in mental health counseling. This is something that I've always wanted to do when I first graduated from undergrad, but like we're just saying, career and your path with your career has its twists and turns. So now I'm taking a step forward again and going back to school.
Yep.
To sign into Blackboard again is
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Crazy. Getting emails, alerts.
Cancellations, though, is going to hit different. If you know, you know. But I'm super excited to get back into it, especially because, like, it's just the perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're saying, mental health has become very prevalent.
Yeah.
And I think that the more educated that the more educated we are on it, the more we'll be able to kind of dive into it and even understand ourselves. So speaking of mental health, how is your mental health?
Mine? Man, I'm going through it, but I'm here, I'm alive. Like, I always go back to that, like, I'm alive. Like, that's something that, like, I'll always be grateful for, and that my family, they're okay, they're healthy. My friends, they're okay, they're healthy. I just try to keep myself grounded and think about the stuff that I do have and think about the stuff that is going right for me in my life, Because if we dwell on so much of, like, your pain or your trials and tribulations, things that are going bad in your life, if you dwell on it too much, it starts to overcome your mental health. And I think that was something that I experienced back in January. Like, I had like these like episodes of like anxiety attacks. Like, it was crazy. Like, I felt like the whole world was caving into my chest. I had to go to the hospital. I went to my doctor. They prescribed me anxiety medicine, which at the moment, like, I was okay with taking it. But then there was a point where I'm like, I can't take these anymore. Like, God just told me, like, I'm going to be all right without these medications. Like, I just felt like I didn't need to rely on it anymore. So that was something that I had to deal with as well. So, which was very scary,
Yeah, it was, when you're in tune with your friends and you're aware of what they're going through, like, you feel the shift. Like, we would never just walk into rooms like, oh, hey, Naila. Like, no, we could read it on her, even when she tries to, like, hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So her anxiety was so bad. I think we did advise you, like, to go to therapy and talk to somebody, because I know we're always so used to, like, talking to our friends. Some people don't even want to talk to their friends. They want to keep it to themselves. But you have to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And, me and Nana come from like the mental health background in regards to education. So we definitely advise her, like, you have to talk to somebody. And
I tried it out.
Yeah. How was that for you?
It was actually good. Like, I learned a lot of stuff. Like, I took away a lot of information from them because obviously that's their expertise. So they have a lot of things that can help me in changing how I live my life to make sure I don't have those anxiety attacks. So it was actually very helpful. And like, I'm the type of person where like, I don't like talking about what I'm going through. Like,
she doesn't.
Like, I'm the type of person where like I laugh at my own pain. Like, there's traumatic things that have happened to me and I will make a joke out of it. So it's like, when I say it, it comes off like it's funny, but it's actually very terrible. But like, that's just how I cope with things. Like, I cannot help but to do that.
Naila and Lizzie are the same people.
That's my twin flame.
That is how they
That's my twin flame.
That's her twin flame. And then me and Nana are like, well, what did you do? Like, did you do some breathing exercises? Like, did you pray about it? Did you write it down in a journal? So we're like so different, yet it balances out. So I think for me, my mental health, that's interesting. Actually, it's not bad.
Okay.
But it's also not perfect.
Okay.
I think like anxiety.
Really?
Yeah.
As of recently or?
As of recently, because I'm starting school again and I'm working, 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And, then school's coming, like just getting back to school and thinking about classes and stuff like that. Like I feel like it's just weighing on me heavily. And it's also a change in routine for me. Mm-hmm. And we know like I'm just a routine based person. Yeah. So that has been showing up a bit. But other than that, I feel like we're on the same page in regards to like in those moments, what we do to kind of ground ourselves and level out ourselves. Like for me, I just talk to God. Okay. And that might not be the route for you because guess what? For me also, I go to therapy.
Mm-hmm. And how's that been?
Love her.
That's good. Finding a good therapist is so important.
It's so important for your mental health because I've had trial and error with therapists. Like I had a therapist back in 2021 and I swear guys, like she didn't even care. Like she sounded so disinterested to what I had to say. She sounded like she was doing something else and listening to me talk about something traumatic that has happened to me. Yeah. But this therapist that I have, I love her. Like I even prayed about finding a good therapist. That's how bad it was. I need someone to talk to. So she's so awesome and she just really, really knows her job. Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Yeah. That's good though. I'm actually very proud that you were able to go back into therapy because like I know you always are like an advocate for us, like making sure like our mental health is, where it needs to be like stable and like her and Nana, like they're always checking in with us. So to see you guys also making sure you guys are okay, that's something that's important as well. So I'm actually happy about that. And to find a good therapist, because I know about your past with therapists. So I'm glad that you found someone that doesn't make you feel like you can't talk about your feelings. They're not taking it serious. Yes. That should never be the case. You should never feel as though your problems or whatever you're going through is very small. Mm. It could be big to you. Yeah. And it might be small to others, but your therapist, it shouldn't be small to them. Yeah, bro.
You ate that up.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so with us too, like with our friendship, even though we were going through difficult things, like it's so crazy and so beautiful how as you grow and you mature and you're rooted in Christ, how your friendships change for the better. Like before, if we were going through things, we disconnect easily. I'm gonna throw Nana under the bus because Nana was the queen of this. Wow. And she's side-eyeing me right now, but it's all good. Wow. Nana used to do that all the time, and I'm realizing
she did a lot.
Thank you. What? Throw her under the bus as well. Yeah, we just put her on the spot. Shout out to Nana.
I feel like Lizzie's the same way too. Like
I think
Lizzie don't talk. She don't talk about
Lizzie's actually in shock right now that we're saying this.
Like Lizzie, like she may seem like the strongest person, and she probably is, but like
she don't joining the chat.
She don't talk about nothing. So it's like we don't even know like what Lizzie's going through. Like
shout out to Lizzie. Shout out to my girl Lizzie.
She's gonna come on the podcast soon, guys. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Say hashtag we want Lizzie.
Hashtag we want Lizzie. Put it in the comments, guys. Let's run that up, please.
5 comments and we'll put Lizzie.
We'll put Lizzie on the podcast. Listen, we gotta give the people what they want.
You feel me?
Simple as that.
So yeah, like for the first time ever, like a lot of things were getting thrown our ways individually, and we came together as a united front. And that just shows the maturity in our mentality and in our emotions. Like we used to not be able to carry what we had going on and what the other person had going on. We actually didn't even want to get involved. Like whatever you got going on, like
keep that to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. Like don't put that on this side. But now, like, I get mad when my friends don't tell me what's going on. Once again, Nana and Naila, they do that all the time. And it's like, why aren't you telling me what's going on? I can handle it. I keep telling you guys time after time, I can handle it. So it's a little disclaimer. Like, if your friend is not telling you what's going on, make sure to check them because it's supposed to be telling you.
Like, she'll really pull up on you.
I will pull up. I will spin the block and pull up to your house. Because why didn't you tell me?
I think, like, my thing is another thing that I do when it comes to my mental health. I feel as though, like, I don't want to make my problems someone else's problems. I feel like I'm putting too much on them. Like, they already got their own stuff going on. Who am I to talk about what I'm going through? So I'll just talk to God, Like, But I know I get it. Like we want to be able to like, because I did learn about like interceding for people. And that's very important
That's
too,
good.
guys. So like if I'm telling my friends or my family what I'm going through, their prayers can help me when I'm weak in my prayer life. You know?
What's interceding to you though?
I feel like praying on someone's behalf, that's interceding. Especially because like I've gotten to the point where sometimes we're like I'm just going through so much where like I can't even look at my Bible. Like I can't even carry the load that's on my back.
That part.
I can't pick up my cross. So if someone can help pick up my cross
Ooh.
just a little bit,
Ooh.
guys, stop it. Stop it.
Ooh.
Just a little bit.
Not
that
a-
intercession.
You felt that?
So I think that's something that I learned a lot about this year. And like you really like helped me like learn about interceding, like because she loves this pastor. Talk about the pastor.
Shout out to Apostle Joshua Selman because
She loves him.
He's like my spiritual mentor, spiritual father, whatever it is you want to call it. His teachings have transformed my walk with God heavily. So a lot of the times, like what I've learned from his sermons, I pass it along to my friendship group, and I kind of just plug those things in to whatever they're going through. And I think it helps because it's hard to not know how to help your friend. Mm-hmm. Like it's hard to not be able to take whatever it is that they're going through away from them. Like I wish I could just hand Naila like a job, for an example, when she was going through that. I wish I had the means to do that. But what I do have for her is the word of God. I have words of encouragement. I have prayers I can pray. When I tell you I'll pray until that mountain moves when it comes to my friends and my family, like I don't care. I know the God that I serve and I know what his word says, and I'm plugging it in every single time. Like once again, I was watching, Naila lose hope, and I don't like that. Like I don't like that at all because I know what God is going to do for her. I just don't have the timeline. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I know that God has a promise over her life, you know? So that's why, like, I be going through my notes, I be shuffling through papers. I'm like, there's gotta be a word in here for her, for me to be able to give to her before I actually lose my best friend in Christ.
I feel as though, like, you were saying how, like, we've grown spiritually, our group of friends, and to the point where we're going to the same church now, guys.
Jubilee.
Shout out to Jubilee.
Shout out to Jubilee. And shout out to Jessica. Jessica, if you're watching this, shout out to you because you were the last person out of like 4 people that told me about this church, and I just knew that was a sign from God. Mm-hmm. And then Naila was like, yeah, my mom said tell me about this church. I'm like, what's it called? She's like, Jubilee. I'm like, we're going. That was another sign. Like it was just clear as day, and we all go. Me, Lizzie, Nana, Naila, and Amanda, we all go. So
and it's been, I feel like that's what we were yearning for, like a church home. Like I know like a lot of people go through like church hurt and, problems with church, finding your place in a church.
Feeling comfortable.
Yeah, and I feel like as a Christian, that's something that has been a pivotal thing for people, finding a church. And we've talked about it in church too with our pastor. And we talked about how like a church is not like a building, like we're the church. And I feel like a lot of Christians, that's why they say like, oh, I don't have to go to church to like talk to God, like, but if you realize that you're the church, like you spending time with your group of people and speaking about God, that's like church. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But finding a home where you can find a community in a church, I think that's so fulfilling. Yes. And that has been for us, like, and we enjoy our church. We love it. And we've gotten so much takeaways from our pastor, so many tips, and his preaching be hitting, guys.
It be hitting. Single time. Yeah. And I think church has increased our faith, which is why we felt like, there's a reason why we had a podcast in the beginning, and we can't let life's challenges get in our way anymore. Like it was hard to juggle the podcast and speak from a place that we know we should be speaking from, but dealing with all this personal stuff at the same time. But you know, one day Naila was like, no, we need to get back on the podcast because like there's something we gotta say that everybody has to hear.
Mm-hmm. And like the conversations we have on our podcast, this is what we be talking about one-on-one, or we be talking like at Lizzie and Amanda's spot. Like we're always like, we get the group together and we just talk about everything, you know, and it always leads back to God, like every single time.
Every time, because how could it not? And it's like, I hope that when we talk about our friendships, like it also makes you think about your friend circle. Like if you're starting to walk with God, like how far do your conversations go? As we get older and we are growing closer with God, like it just like God just like he sprouts out everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So that's one thing that I think our podcast highlights a lot: friendship, but and family and life and school and career, but God in the center.
Yeah, we have so many things in store for you guys, so many topics. We're gonna go deep, guys. Like it's a lot, and we'll be talking about like our experiences too, like what we've gone through.
Yes.
That's related to these topics that we'll talk about in the near future. So yeah, like
I think this is just a quick intro to show you guys that we are back. Quick little tour around the new setting. It's more comfy, more cozy, and we just want to come back and continue on with this podcast. A lot of people always ask us about it, and they're like, when are you bringing it back? Why are you guys not doing the podcast? And me and Naila are like, what?
I feel like we always knew we would come back to the podcast. It's not like we ended it, you know. Life just really was life and was getting in the way. But like now we're here, you know, and we're gonna get things started with you guys, and like we just can't wait for y'all to hear what we gotta say. Like
we got a lot to say.
We're gonna have guests, okay?
Like Lizzie.
Nana is gonna come back on the show too.
Amanda is gonna be on the show. It's gonna be really
gonna be good.
Then the whole crew is gonna be here. Like you get to get a feel into our friendships.
We'll definitely do like a group episode. With like all of us, so you could just see like the different perspectives come into one.
That should be the next episode.
It should.
Yeah.
Let us know what y'all think.
Let us know what you guys think. But
what y'all want to see?
We should film it today, right? Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out, guys.